Welcome to the Fantasy Thinker. I'm Jared Gordamanch, and today we're going to be doing a review of Amitav Ghosh's Sea of Poppies, Book 1 in the Ibis Trilogy. So this will probably be my most challenging book of the year to review. This is historical fiction by an Indian author who is writing about a place and period in history that I am not that familiar with. So, historical fiction and these places in this time is kind of all stuff that is out of my wheelhouse, so to speak. It's definitely not in my comfort zone or whatever hot phrase you would like to throw at that. But of course, that is what drew my interest. Because, the idea of expanding my horizons, reading something new, discovering stuff, interesting new ways to read a story. So, to help explain how I feel about this book, let's delve into the setting and the subject matter a bit. Um, the setting is fascinating. The time period is the 1830s, prior to the onset of the first Opium Wars between colonial British Empire and the Qing dynasty of China. The places in here range from the south coast of Africa across the Indian Ocean to the banks of the Ganges River, or the Delta, actually. Um, as most of the story takes place in the river Delta, as we learn all about the various people who populate it and how the opium trade affects their lives. And, you can kind of see the map there. The book itself follows several characters as we learn how they all come to be on a ship named the Ibis. And so Gosh weaves his characters' lives in and out of the narrative in like this really deft and subtle manner. He showcases the differences in like their upbringing, attitudes, and language as we learn about like the various levels or castes of society that exist in this small area of the world. And based upon the notes in the back of the book, Gosh had access to some detailed notes about like dress, habits, lifestyles, and customs of the populace in this area and during these times. His descriptions are vivid and bring the setting to such life. I like could picture it as some kind of remote place he may have like visited, like yesterday and came back and told us about it. Um, Most impressive and admittedly a bit off-putting sometimes was his use of the local vernacular from that time period and in that area. His word choices were just incredible, and even though in English were completely foreign to an American English speaking doorknob like myself. Um, Phrases like a couple examples of phrases from the book here. So we got let's see here. Uh, Never mind. One Piece song bugger have got. This Launder Blongi one time mission boy. Joss man have learned him One Piece some. Uh that that it took me a long time to piece together what that actually meant. And in some cases, I actually didn't get it all, which is fine. But the it didn't interfere with the story or anything. But you really have to delve in and find out what he's talking about. He's talking about a song, a One Piece song. It's a psalm, like a musical psalm um, that a jazz musician learned, uh, and so it was just it's incredible the broken English that comes into the language here. And okay, I tell yer, mannequin, you're not enough to leave Jack Crowley hanging a cockabill. Not when he's all catted and fished. I'll corpse you before I let you gimme the slip. So very interesting stuff. Um, so you have to, you know, take that stuff and you have to read it slow, really get the meaning. And then there are some other terms that are unknown to the modern English speaker that actually have to be looked up in the notes in the back. And that's words like bipari and gomusta. And, I'll let you guys look those up. But um, so while you may be able to infer some kind of meaning to them from the sentence structure, sometimes you might just have to go look them up. So, with all that said, I am extremely happy I read this book. Uh, Beyond being a gap in my knowledge of history in time and place, um, it was a compelling, slightly heartbreaking story about characters that are brought together by circumstances both in and out of their control. And, to help us understand the story, Gosh conveniently breaks the book up into three parts. Part one is the land, part two is the river, part three is the sea. These three parts and their corresponding locations tie into the thematic journeys that the characters take. The land shows us how they are tied into where they come from and what their roots mean to them. There is a certain sense of naivety to the characters as they are like a child in knowledge about the rest of the world. And the river represents their journey away from those ties and the connection from past to present as the path to the future. It's that in between stage, getting ready to embark on a new life, just as in real life we have an in between stage from child to adult. And then the sea is kind of the adult stage of their arcs and culminates in the major decisions that the characters make about how they want the rest of their lives to be. And it also represents the complete separation from what they were, including changes in status and outlook, as the sea has washed away their past. So that is, some great thematic tie-ins in here with those three parts of the story, and the stories of the individual characters tie into that thematic representation as well. Um, Nosh, Gosh points out many cultural affectations, of course, caste or social status being one of them. There was a lot of emphasis in here on the different strata of society between native Hindi and Bengali peoples and even the occupying British. He does a great job, not specifically making one group strictly villainous or heroic. Um, and they're rounding out motivations and circumstances to fit character motivations in a logical manner. Some Yeah, some characters' motivations should are definitely and should be brought into question. There's no doubt about that. But there are some circumstances present that can muck up the waters of the modern righteous judgment. That may happen on the reader's part. Um, so with all that said, uh, there are a few characters in here that you will be drawn to, and of course want to wish the best for. Um, and Gosh also knows how to play on our sympathies for those characters, and so you have that you do get a sense to root for somebody in the book, and but the point is that they're great. They're not completely. They have the selfish motivations too, even the ones you want to root for, and the ones who seem villainous at first also have circumstances that back up their actions, even if their actions aren't great and really and morally unacceptable. But overall, a thoroughly interesting and captivating read. Um, it does end on. It is a part of a trilogy, so it does end on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Um, but it's still enough self-contained that you're going to get a lot out of reading just a one book if you wish to stop here. Um, that I think that would be acceptable. You're not going to miss out on too much, but there is a sense of, okay, what's going to happen next? So I plan on getting to book two of this series um, sometime next year. It'll be River of Smoke is the name of it, I believe, and so that'll be the next book in this trilogy. And so, with all that said, um, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like and subscribe if you do. And until next time, be good to each other.